Welcome to the Thanksgiving edition of What's Up with Prescott Real Estate. I'm here with Dave Connors and Theron Wall. How you guys doing?
Good, Mike.
Good.
What's up with Prescott Real Estate?
Well, what's up with Prescott Real Estate is that it's an exciting time right now. We got a little dusting of snow last night. Looks like we're going to get a little bit more accumulation today. So,
Awesome.
yeah, it should be good.
And this is also our Thanksgiving edition of the show.
Yeah.
So we're grateful to be here. We're grateful for our 4 subscribers. Thank you all.
I thought we lost a subscriber
Okay,
yesterday.
3 to be
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah. Oh, well, what do? We make it more exciting.
We have a special guest today.
Our special guest is...
Theron Wall, Senior Mortgage Consultant from Wallick Volk here in Prescott, Arizona. Welcome, Theron. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, basically, I've been with Wallick Volk for 5 years, been in the industry 10, and find this to be a really exciting time to be in our industry. A lot of change right now, and we find we're able to help a lot of people.
Cool. Who is Wallick Volk?
He's a family-owned company. Has been around for over 80 years. We're one of the oldest in the business.
And they're based out of Wyoming?
Yes, Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Excellent.
Yes.
Theron, maybe could you go over some of the different primary types of loans?
Can indeed. So there are basically 4 different types of loans that we use in most situations right now. We either are using your traditional conventional 30-year fixed mortgages. We are using FHA, which is a program we use a lot for post-foreclosure, post-bankruptcy, credit-challenged situations, as well as some first-time home buyers. There is the VA program, and the VA program is specific to veterans, wonderful program. Basically, if a veteran qualifies for it, they should seriously consider using it. And then there is a program we use in rural areas that we use a lot here in northern Arizona, which is USDA. That is also a wonderful program that we often use for first-time home buyers, but does not require first-time home buyers to use.
Great. Can you give us a little bit more information on the different types of loans? Which type of loan requires the largest down payment and how much? And which type of loan requires the smallest down payment and how much is that?
Well, of those different options, the conventional loans require the largest minimum down payment, which is 5% is the minimum down payment for conventional. And that's for a primary residence. If you want to buy a second home or an investment property, the down payment requirements are higher, 10% on a second home, 20% on an investment property. The other programs that we use a lot for first-time home buyers, FHA has a 3.5% down payment requirement, and both VA and USDA do not have a down payment requirement. So they do not have.
So you can do that with no down payment. Wow.
Absolutely, yes.
So what are the different rates? Like today, if I'm a borrower and I have good credit, what kind of rates am I looking at for conventional, FHA, VA, and USDA?
They're all fairly similar because they all come from the money we use for those programs. All comes from the same source, which ultimately is the bond market on Wall Street. And it does vary day to day, and it varies a little bit per program. But I would say in general, in today's market, you're going to be looking at rates in the mid-4s, anywhere from, say, 4.25 to 4.75, depending on the program, and the different other details in the credit profile that we're looking at. Still some of the lowest in history. They're a little higher than the record lows a year ago, but they are still some of the absolute lowest in history.
Great.
They are also projected to be about 1% higher in a year. So, and that makes a big difference in a monthly payment. If someone were to buy a home a year from now that they could have bought today, they will, with a 30-year fixed mortgage, a $250,000 purchase with 20% down. A year from now, they're likely to pay about $175 more per month than with that rise in rates than if they were to buy today for that same home.
So do you think it's a better time to buy today than waiting a year?
I think if you are considering buying a home, it's very difficult to make a good case to wait. I think it is a great time to buy right now because both the prices of homes and the rates are both expected to be higher as we move through the year.
Okay, excellent.
So how could someone get a hold of you if they were interested in getting financing?
I love to do a consultation with people. So, and we have a couple different ways that we start off talking to people. We have a wonderful website, which if we're here, that's probably the quickest and easiest place, which is my website is just my name, theronwall.com. Also, our phone number, 928-445-8730 at the office. And I like to just start with a conversation, answer questions, and go from there rather than jump right into an application. I like to help people out, give them some good answers before we have them provide a lot of personal information.
Great. We actually have one of our subscribers had a question, Mark and Sandra from Colorado. They wanted to know what can they expect with paying closing costs. Like what is a closing cost? And
excellent question. Well, it will vary on those loan programs a little bit, and it'll also vary on some, which property you pick. But as a general rule, the other thing that will matter is how we structure your loan. So it's hard to give an exact answer to that question because we can adjust your closing costs as we adjust the rate pricing. Your rate and your fees are tied together. So part of the consultation we do is to determine what your priorities are. If cash is your biggest priority and you're very limited in your funds, well, how we're going to structure the loan will be different because we're going to want to keep your closing costs really low. If that is not your top priority, if having the lowest payment is your top priority, then we might have higher closing costs to buy down the rate some. But as a general rule, I tell people to expect anywhere from $3,500 to $5,000 as a number to work with. Not all of that is going to lender's fees, but you need some money to work with to buy a home, and if you plan for that, and then we go from there based off your priorities.
So
big bank.
So Theron, what's the difference between a client working with a big bank versus a mortgage broker, mortgage banker? And let me just start by saying my perspective, because I've done both of them a lot. Often the big banks over-promise and under-deliver, and at the end of the transaction, there are delays that end up costing the borrower a lot of money and a lot of stress. Can you reflect on that?
Yeah, I can. In the larger banking institutions, generally you're a part of a machine. You fill out an application, you go into that machine, and the person who took that application very much intends to give you what you want. But their ability to control and influence things down the line is limited. In our case, those contracts that we work with, that you bring to us with the clients, they are one of the most important things that we work with is to make sure we meet those timelines, because those contracts could very easily mean money or not obtaining the home at all if we don't do what we're supposed to do in that timeline. So it's a question of priorities. In the clients for us and closing those transactions on time are one of our absolute top priorities that we're working with. Whereas in those other situations, you're a part of a much bigger organization with a lot of other priorities.
Yeah, I'd hate to deal with a situation where you have a client buying a home and they have basically moved their whole entire life to get into this house, and they relocate to thinking they're going to close and then not being able to close. I think would be a very frustrating situation, both for being an agent myself. I would feel for that family. So
yeah, the worst case scenario is the moving van sitting in the driveway and they're waiting to close.
Well, and the thing with some of those other scenarios is that it's very difficult to tell at the beginning of the transaction what the end result is going to be, because usually from the stories I hear from you in those situations is that you usually don't know that there's a problem until you're within the last couple days close to closing.
That's it.
And that really is a big deal. In our case, the communication is always open. Even if we have some challenges, everybody's going to know about it. We're all working towards that same goal of closing on time or early.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Theron, for covering all that. Really appreciate your time. Before we go, I just wanted to ask both of you, we're coming right up to Thanksgiving. Mike, what's your favorite treat? What are you most excited about when you sit down at the Thanksgiving table?
I think the most exciting thing is the conversation with your family when you don't get to see them all the time, and so you get to have, candid conversation, and it's fun. That's my favorite part about Thanksgiving. It's just being with the family.
Really, that's funny because mine is the food. It's clearly the the turkey and the stuffing. I love that. Theron, what's your favorite?
Me too. I love both. I mean, gosh, family food, that's Thanksgiving, but I'm particularly looking forward to my wife.
Tell me, what's your least favorite dish at Thanksgiving dinner?
My least favorite dish. My mom has this gravy dish, and I hate that dish. It's got this blue, scrolly stuff around it. There's a little bit of gold. Every time I see that dish, I just want to break it. That is my least favorite dish.
Theron, do you have a least favorite?
I don't have a least favorite food. I love it all, but the cleanup afterwards is, I can't, But I've got young kids this year that are ready to clean.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
We're going to take full advantage.
Well, my least favorite is anything with cooked carrots. I just never been a fan of those, but thank you so much for your time, Mike and Theron, and thank you for our subscribers to joining us for What's Up with Prescott Real Estate with Mike and Dave.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.